It's good to see it doing so well, though. It'd be awesome to end up around 900 before DreamHack starts. That would be... Well, we haven't been up to 900 for a while, for sure. Bottom left-hand side. A red-town player from Team Liquid. I saw him practicing for this a couple hours ago. Who wants to guess his practice partner? You know what, Twitch chat? You guess who his practice partner was. You guys get a minute or so, okay? I saw him in some custom games practicing earlier. You guys can guess who he's practicing with. Because in the top right, a blue Zerg player is Elazer. Mixu, Austin. Reno, Lambo, Cyril. There you go, Cyril. I saw Kelazhur in some custom games with Cyril. So he might be pretty well warmed up for this. Yeah, the prediction. Thank you for telling me. Now I can start the next one as well. See how this works when you guys remind me to end the predictions. Brilliant. Alright, let's see what we get then, guys, as we have ourselves map number 1. And Kelazhur already a Rax low ground as he starts up this Reaper. You know, Kelazhur likes to go into his Reaper openings and stuff, so not too surprising to see that already coming down here initially. Did Elazer veto Stargaze over Waterfall? I actually didn't see what they vetoed, but I imagine so, yes. To be fair, a lot of people are looking at Waterfall. A lot of people have been saying lately Waterfall isn't even that bad of a map for Zerg. Like, yeah, it's short, but Zerg can still do things on this map and make things happen, so people haven't been as concerned about it as they originally were. Stargaze definitely seems to be the one they've picked out to be just a little bit too unplayable versus the Terrans. Definitely the one that seems to remain getting vetoed a lot of the time. Reaper wants a drone kill coming around, not quite going to find it. Now we'll dance with those Zerglings instead for just a few short moments here. Yeah, a little bit annoying, a little bit frustrating in these early stages. As we get this off and running, just going to be having our Roach run already finishing from Elazer. So he's just going to roach across the map pretty much immediately. Just going to go hyper aggressive and try and get some damage done. Starport coming in from Kelazhur. This map is the size of the maps when the game is released? No. The maps used to be smaller than Waterfall back in the day. Like, maps used to be ridiculous size. And with less bases as well. You know? With less bases as well, for sure. 8 roaches then, Kelazhur. No 3cc, so that's good news. Tech Lab on the barracks could be for the Starport to get a Banshee. That would be really good news for Kelazhur. Here is obviously figuring out what's going on. He sees no third hatch. I mean, you've got to be wondering a little bit. As he's still checking, still trying to find out. Here are the roaches, and he is going to see them now confirmed for the first time. Banshee already starting, so that's not a reaction. That was a plan anyway, so it's going to already be as fast as possible. I mean, factoring the reactor on the low ground is kind of sad. Obviously, the reactor there is unlikely to be saved. As I do have our bunker on the high ground, but then no wall on the high ground, so it's going to be tough to keep the units coming up that ramp for a bit. At the very least, those 2 low ground depots early in the game will be dropping immediately. SCVs pull back, though, trying to minimize their losses. The factory continue to take some hits. Roach is going to go onto the depot there. There's the bunker finishing up. Rid of the Hellion and just going to be seeing a good grenade. Pop back a little bit. Here's the Banshee. And this is now the shutdown. We haven't lost any workers yet, so without losing workers, I don't mind this too much. I do feel like these roaches should probably turn onto the reactor. That feels like an easy kill waiting to happen. If you jump on it now, getting that picked off. Just going to be seeing our Banshee. Going to continue to chase some roaches down. So a few more roaches dying off here. And yeah, in the end, very good defense from Kelazhur. It doesn't come out too many workers behind. Yeah, has to lift off the factory, loses a reactor, a couple depots, but I'd say pretty well responded to. And of course, now he's got the Banshees to harass with for a while as well. There's a potential for him to pull the Zerg back by a few drones. Of course, worth mentioning, I think it's nice that Elazer also kept some of his roaches alive, because now you don't have to build those roaches again. You still have them for defense in case Hellions run by. So it just lets you drone freely without having to make any units for a little bit. As you do nab 2 drones already with the first Banshee. The second Banshee on the way. So the second Banshee is very delayed. The reason it's so delayed is because initially we obviously had that massive supply block coming in, so you just couldn't start another Banshee for a little while. So that obviously slows things down quite substantially. There's a couple drones going down. Engineering Bay's racks continuing up, just going to be seeing our Stimpaks continuing through as well. Wanting to go to the upper right side and double Banshees together, can obviously hope to get a few drone pickoffs, but defense is looking reasonable. A couple Queens pretty well positioned right from the start. And the Banshee's going to ping and try and see if they can find anything, but there's not really much to be done. There is some of this creep. I mean, obviously that's one of the negatives here as well. Queen count will have been low. Creep spread will hence have been low as well in this game. So these are things which are now kind of being, you know, repercussions from having chosen to go aggressive like this early on for Elazer. So facing some repercussions there as a couple of SCVs come across, and what a nice timing for this Overlord to get here. We'll just deny this CC by a little bit. And again, that's always just a nice little annoyance to be able to put into play. Slow your opponent down with for sure. And she's moving back up through the center. 1-1 upgrades, combat shields. All of this continuing through for the moment as we have orbital dropping down. And rid of a few extra Zerglings as our Banshees are still up the right-hand side. The fourth hatch building now from Elazer, but once Kelazhur hits 1-1 in combat shields, I do believe we're going to have some pushes that are going to begin to look at least a little bit dangerous out of our Terran player. There's some drops and stuff that you'll have to be dealing with and stuff like that. Definitely going to be frustrating at the very least. So on our way toward all that is this first drop already coming in. No 1-1, just the stim. Kills off a Queen, now an Overseer. It's good to pick that up because now the Banshees can come in cloaked up and they can actually just start to chip away at units for free. Currently spreading their damage between 2 different roaches. Wouldn't have minded them just going after the Queens, because if you kill the Queens then there's no anti-air here as well. Now the Overseer's going to finish the Banshees. Maybe not doing as much as they would have wanted to. Elazer's just going to send it with the Roach attack. Now how well prepared are we going to be on the other side? And Roach is going to be finishing, +2 attack coming in from Kelazhur. Tank just sieging up on that ramp. The 2 Banshees going to begin to move out over to the far right. And Roach, Ravager of Elazer, continuing to come forward here. Marine's getting picked off, and now he's going to be seeing this defense starting. I mean, the Banshee should be able to chip at some damage throughout this. We've got one tank that's still quite far back. Is this going to be enough from Kelazhur? Reinforcements on the other side as well. That's going to be the tank, the last one going down. SCVs pull into this honestly kind of late, and this was one of those scenarios where I wonder if he just felt like he had enough. But the reality is he should have just been pulling SCVs from the very, very beginning. As well as these Banshees, I do feel like these Banshees could have been a lot better too. I feel like these Banshees could have showed up a lot sooner. It still might be okay for Kelazhur because this is still pretty committed from Elazer. He doesn't have any sort of 2-2 upgrades on the way or anything. I just feel like these Banshees could have chipped away at the Roach Ravager much sooner. The SCV pull immediately would have saved a few bio units. Again, these are the little things that actually can go a long way. As now, Overseer out of position, so Queen's taking some hits on the back. Kong transfuse off creep, of course. I think the Banshees will get to survive then, and of course, once that is done, they only have a couple of Ravagers to get through, and if they can push down both those Ravagers, And yeah, I think Kelazhur is still going to be looking pretty golden here. Kills off the Overseer. That one Ravager going down now. The other one being chased back, and Elazer looking toward the future. Infestation Pit coming through, but he is going to be missing upgrades if nothing else. Chunk of Mules drop down, and it's going to see the two Banshees counter-attacking, getting rid of a couple of drones. 2-3 drones going down straight away. It's going to knock that first Banshee down. Just going to have our Liberator coming out the right with the Medivacs, with the Bioforce. I mean, I don't feel like Kelazhur should be instantly counter-attacking. He seems to think it's okay, though. He's got +2 attack upgrade as well. Loses the... I think he just shot down his own Lib. There's no way anything the Zerg had did that much damage that quickly. He kills the 4th base of Elazer, so the counterattack is very well placed, especially if he just leaves now and doesn't lose too much. I think the one thing he could have done here is obviously stick around too long. I don't feel like he's done that. Road just show up as a counterattack from Elazer. There's going to be a few Valiants already stimming over here to fight this, and the rest of the army gets here as well. Now Elazer's going to turn this into a bit of a surround. The tanks are going to have to get down and siege up. Tanks! Oh my goodness, I feel like the tanks are in some trouble. We're not going to have more battles than that, though, so 2 of the 4 tanks survive. 18 new SCVs dying, though, and that's obviously going to be a costly one for Kelazhur, losing a lot more of the economy than what he would have wanted to. One Banshee still alive, still making plays, still just trying to chip through the Roach Ravager force. I like the Libs because Elazer doesn't have a high Ravager count as well. He doesn't really have a way to deal with the Liberators. I like the Infestus from Elazer also, giving him an option to lock down a few units and some fungal growths and to find some additional value. A couple of Infestus can go a very long way to being successful as we stim to the upper left corner. And that group of Roaches is going to be in trouble. Obviously, you've been missing a 4th base during this, so Elazer's economy's not been perfect, neither is Kelazhur's, but it's worth keeping that in mind. Of course, you've just got the mass lift and leave strategy available in these Medivacs if you want to get out of here. I mean, there's Ravagers show up. I feel like Kelazhur doesn't find this fight at all. 2-2 against 1-1, and obviously the Roaches and Ravagers on the right side just showed up so late. We're killing drones with the Liberator in the main base as well. The Infestus pop, but don't have energy for Fungals immediately, and Kelazhur takes it home on Waterfall. Game 1 of this best of 5. I know, just such. Top right-hand side, taking the 1-map lead in this best of 5. It is going to be Kelazhur. His opponent in the bottom left from Team Liquid as well is Elazer. Thank you, Days SC2, 22-month resub on the Prime, kickstarting us into Game 2 of the series. 22 months, Game 2. 2's everywhere. It's a sign that you too should subscribe. Turned it into an even better sellout. Nailed it. I like the fact that SC2 came out a long time ago and you can still watch a ton of content. Well, that's because we'll always keep producing StarCraft games for you guys. We don't mess around. You guys allow us to do it. You guys keep watching it. People watch it, then you're gonna have content to watch, right? I guess that's kind of how it works. Yo, MF Kilgore, thank you so much for your Prime sub. Triple X Crispy Quadruple X on the Prime as well for the 5 months. Thank you so much, guys. Welcome back. Getting the Primes out. I like it. Whack them out, guys. You got that Prime sub available. You can subscribe for free right here, right now. And $1 or more will go towards tournament prize pools just like this one. We are currently building up the prize pool for our WardiTV 2022 end-of-year event, featuring all the players that have been playing in our event throughout the year. It's going to be a banging end of year for us, guys. We're going to have WardiTV 2022. We're going to be having the WardiTV Christmas Invitational. We're going to have the WardiTV Christmas Day games coming back. So if you're looking for something to watch on the 25th of December, you'll be able to grab a full day of action with the WardiTV Christmas Day games. And of course, if you don't catch it live, they'll be uploaded to the YouTube every day for 7 days after, as our main source of YouTube content counting down the new year. So we got loads of stuff coming up. And again, without you guys, it wouldn't be possible. So thank you so much. If you're getting your primes out and waving them in the sky and whatever else, it is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for the 1777 donation coming in from, wait a moment, because I'm trying to find my Stream Elements dashboard. Big Flap Flappers. Oh, Big Flip Flappers. Thank you so much, Big Flip Flappers, for the 1777. Someone, you Oh, sometimes you boop noses, and sometimes your nose gets booped. Thank you so much for the donation. Based on Ellie's appearance. Appreciate it. Marine open, I'm going to push this Overlord away, guys. You love yourself a big flip-flap? Yeah, me too. I thought it was a big flap-flap, and I was like, what? A giant chicken? Giant bird? I didn't know what we were going for, but a flip-flap? I don't even know what a flip-flap is. A flip-flap-flop? Watching Wardy during Christmas from the fireplace. Yeah, well, the Christmas Day games were so cool last year. We had a great time. Again, so basically we get the players to play a couple weeks in advance. I cast the games in advance, and then on Christmas Day we just basically run a broadcast, which is the pre-recorded games. It's still kind of like produced as like it being live. Like we still have like breaks between matches and stuff. So if you want to get up and BRB and stuff, you can. So it's not just like watching like games rolling out like we're rebroadcasting. It's obviously the first time those games are seen and stuff. Honestly, it worked very well. We had a really good viewership for it. We had a good response. So yeah, I think we're going to do it again this year. Maybe get some special guests on to cast some of the games and stuff. Just have a nice little, like I say, Christmas Day celebration of games. It's pretty cool last year. I like having the stream live on Christmas Day. But I can't be actually like live anymore because I live with a girlfriend. We actually do stuff on Christmas. Unlike when I just did family Christmas, we're usually done by like 2 or 3 p.m. so I could just come home and stream. So yeah, having something in that format made for a nice little change. It was cool. Little Hellion drop to start out with in the main. Gets a creep team into the side. This medevac is being the target of the Queens. And the Hellions are going to find eventually the drones. Elazer had a lot of trouble the other day against Spirit with Hellions as well. Somehow only 4 drones go down. This attack almost happened in slow motion. I feel like I was watching this entire thing happen and the Hellions just didn't kill anything. That should have been a lot more damage done for Kelazhur, no doubt. I feel like Elazer was almost waiting for the for like extra lings to show up to come in and be like the knights in shining armor and to save the day and to protect the drones, but then they never arrived. And then Kelazhur's like, wait, there's no lings showing up. He's like, I can actually die for the drones. So then he finally did that, and then somehow the shots didn't quite line up at all. 93 days till Christmas. Sugar Deets on the 46-month resub. Thank you so much. Sugariest of tits. Appreciate it. The Christmas countdown has been official in our house for the last about 100 days. We only have 93 days until we get to start it all again. Well, 94. I guess you don't start counting down on Christmas, right? 3 Evo Chambers, Balin Nest, all of that coming up right now as our Hellions continuing to fight the Queens. Double Evo Chamber on the back of the faster left for the Balin speed. We are going to have good upgrades then for Kelazhur in this game, as this is going to turn out a Lingbane Muta versus the Bio. Not Lingbane Muta, sorry, but Lingbane against the Bio. We could go Mutas, I think more likely to see Hydras on this map, if at all. If not, just going kind of Lingbane into Ultra, Lingbane into Lurkers. I'm just saying all the freaking units, and half of them aren't even the ones I want to say right now. Fantastic cast and Wardy, 10 out of 10 effort. They does sneak around. Nothing here to deny this Liberator, and I don't think Elazer realized it either, so a few drones will begin to drop. 3, 4, and 5 if that drone on the gas didn't pull away. Oh, some drones there! How did he miss the drones again? Hitting the Zerglings. Oh my goodness, that felt like, again, another time where Elazer should have lost a bunch of drones, and he kind of got away with not losing as many as he should have done, if any. At all, from those Hellions at least. Name all the units. It's 200 IQ. If I name all the units, I'm going to be right at some point. Then I can just pretend the ones that weren't right were the missays, right? Hello, Zerg. Just waiting for your bauble. Oh, don't worry. We're going to have a lot of bauble stuff on the tree this year. Some tags. Going to have... I've already got giant candy canes from last year. I think they're going to be the big high value item this year on the tree for sure. Candy cane. They never really kicked off last year because they came in like after the start of the tree hype. I reckon the candy canes are going to be the big one. He's going to grab an Overlord as you push up this ramp. Queens are going to sit here and, well, try and fight. Obviously, Kelazhur just wants to trade and lift and leave, right? He just doesn't really want to lose too much. He wants to get free damage done at this point. Yo, Von Schleyer, how you doing, man?
Bro, it's not the end of the stream yet. You're too early.
1603 sub, thank you so much. Appreciate it and hope you're doing well. So always dropping by is our Aliens, sorry, our Marines and Medivacs continue to dish out a little bit of damage here and there for the moment. Burrow on the way up, Kelazhur on his way to 2-2. Second factory, so not looking to stick towards a big bio attack or anything like that. Very happy it would seem to let this one develop into something that will last a little longer. Not looking to just crush this game to an end in a 3-base scenario or anything. Couple mines still burrowing up. Marine's going to load back into Medivac. I'm going to start escaping out up to the top side. And just going to be having ourselves the couple of different directions of attack, doing a good job of keeping a lot of this creep back. And yo, he's going to get on top of this drone line. He's only going to get 1 or 2. Could maybe jump into the main base here. There are lings there, so it looks as though that's going to be already pre-denied by Elazer. Come forward and we knock down a set of rocks as well. Doing a decent job of this across the board. Marines, mines, moving around. Bane would like to have a push in here. Oh, we did burrow some Banes, but Kelazhur notices it and gets the scan off. Denying that pretty much immediately as he continues to pressure here, and there is a massive counterattack on Elazer. Oh, he's just going to flank around with this. Looks like it's just going to be a surround, but honestly could have been just a large attempt to go across the map and run into one of Kelazhur's bases. I just feel like Kelazhur loses a slightly larger chunk of units than we might have wanted to, unfortunately. As we have our Marines loading back up in those medevacs. Are running on this bottom side again, where we're going to find a whole chunk of drones to get rid of. So that's nice. So we do have this Spore Crawler denied as well. And the Marines and Marauders just sit here and chip away at what they can. The Ling's going to come through and lose a medevac. It does feel like Kelazhur's losing a lot, but not really doing much. Like, I feel like he's done okay denying the creep and stuff, but it's a big map, and without really finding some serious damage, it feels like this game gets a little bit more and more out of control. Brings and loads, some drones taking damage. Marines loading up, medevacs getting shoved away. Just going to be seeing our Queen continuing to get some shots off onto the medevacs here, as you do have it pushed around a little bit. A lot of Ling Bane on the bottom right side from Elazer, as he's going to pull this across and head up the right, head in towards that planetary fortress. Maybe a few more SCVs going over. Now that Bane's rolling in and just going to be seeing all of these SCVs blown up in an instant, so yeah. Good lift on the CC, but just not in time to get the SCVs out of there before they became Banlinguified. Melted to SCV puddles. At this point for Kelazhur, like I said, it just feels like Elazer will start to get a lot of control. He's getting spines up in front of bases, he's getting a lot of creep spread moving forward. It just feels so difficult to move through at the moment. Here comes a larger push from Kelazhur. I mean, that's still how you can win this game. Like, a larger push that trades very well, and then obviously that can really kind of momentum you forwards a lot. I mean, that is kind of just how TvZ works. All the mines go off on those first few units, though. And now without any splash damage, I can't feel like this is a fight that you're going to win. So you lift, you run away. You just have a massive amount of army supply, mind you. Some burrowed Balons you're going to have to be careful of. Yeah, the army supply is very nice. Do we have a lurker den? No, just a Hydra den. We should really start the lurker den, no? Get some lurkers out, really start to solidify this. Because that's going to be what helps you against this larger army supply. Some of that splash damage and units that can control the space a whole bunch better. Coming across, and again, only moving out with what he can lift up and retreat with in the medevacs, which is absolutely the right kind of approach to be having. You know, that's the safest approach you can go for. Because then, in theory, you're never trading badly because you just lift and get away with anything. As you see, Bane's over here, gonna get shot down. Expensive for Elazer, losing a lot of supply on those Banelings without connecting at all. More spine crawlers go down to the upper left-hand side. Can Kelazhur... I mean, I think one of the big things right now is going to be Kelazhur stretch himself out to defend a 5th base. Without a 5th, you can only really stay in this game so long hanging around on the 4 bases, so... The 5th definitely has to be a question mark that's currently up in the air, and has to be figured out at some point. Good scans. He's very aware that Elazer likes to use those burrowed Banelings. He's very rarely moving forward without the scans checking ahead for him. Those 2 Banelings have just sat in the freaking... the corner of 2 scans, and they escaped both of them. That was impressive that they managed to dodge both those scans there. It's obviously just a little bit of RNG basically on the scan placement. That one doesn't go the way of Kelazhur. Hydra's going to intercept medevacs. We lose a full one, so Kelazhur losing a few extra units. What's resources lost like in this game? Pretty decent for Kelazhur. If he can hold the 5th base, then I think he's going to be in an okay spot. He is scaring his opponent away on the bottom side for the moment. A bigger push for him up on the top. We borrow the mines, but probably not quickly enough, although maybe. He retargeted a couple times there. Great splits from Elazer. Split multiple times over until Kelazhur was done trying to get that Widow Mine to fire onto a bigger clump of Banes. That was really nice. Negating the micro attempts from Kelazhur. Good micro from both, because obviously for Kelazhur to retarget that a couple times is nice, and for Elazer to react to the retargeting is very impressive too. So yeah, G has given us a great game at TvZ so far. That is for certain. It's a nice EMP going down on both the Vipers here. Here come the Banes. Rolling through, the SCVs are stuck in a corner. They're going to start splitting away. The Banes took a moment to kind of reconsider where they wanted to go to. We have got our Ghosts up. I do feel like sometimes Elazer's biggest trials and tribulations in ZVT come from playing against Ghosts. Because like sometimes he gets to this point in a great setup, but then he just can't ever really run through and end the game, you know, or get some pushes to shut the Terran player down at all. He's going to blow up a couple different bases here. That denies a lot of the economy of Kelazhur, right? A lot of SCVs that currently can't mine. So Kelazhur knocked down to his original 3 bases. Never mind holding on to a 5th base. Now without a 4th base. He does have extra CCs finishing, and those will obviously get to go replaced. But it's not like those CCs were already done and instantly relocating. That entire build process takes some time, as we are going to line up a nuke over there. Don't think that Ghost will last long enough, although actually for the moment it survives. Okay, the Overseer and the Hydras finish it off, although the Banes then ran forward off creep into Marauders and tank fire, and Kelazhur will re-engage back forwards. He's got a ton of Ghosts right now. You know, there's just no good way of dealing with Ghosts at the moment. Like to an extent, you kind of think that maybe a Nuffling Bane is just going to kind of overwhelm Ghosts, and I say that a lot, and I do believe it a lot of the time, but right now, I actually feel like those Ghosts maybe could have stuck around. Great Widow Mines at the tail end, blowing up a whole bunch of Lings. Resources lost. 29k to 19k, so it's a 10k difference between Kelazhur and Elazer at the moment. Lings up to the top, just going to be seeing a Hydra Bane continuing through, plus 3 missiles also producing from Elazer. Overseer sieges, Overseer unsieges. Yeah, Sensitow online. We do have Sensitow starting to cover the entirety of the map, so the attacks of Elazer are going to become less and less surprising for Kelazhur. A lot more scripted, a lot more of something that he's just very aware of in the first place, as the Fire Army over here will stim up, and Elazer's going to send this. I don't like this at all, man. It feels like this is way too much damage available for Kelazhur. He is going to lose some SCVs, but the base will survive most importantly. The Ghosts were out of position to the south side. Can we actually save the planetary? Yes! Wow, that's huge. The Viper's obviously coming in and delivering a little bit there as well, getting some good blinding clouds off on the tanks to really help out. That was needed. Continuing through, Ghost's going to cloak up, although there is still detection of... Oh no. Yes, okay, the Ghosts aren't being hit by this. We actually started sniping down Hydras. Well, some of these Ghosts will sort of run out of energy, but the tanks are going to siege, and these morphing Banelings getting caught. Elazer might lose this top base. Let's see how this fight goes. Some of the Ghosts already lifted up. Great Widow Mine shot. There's only one Baneling left. Ghosts beginning to unload again on this high ground, and these Ghosts just continuing through all of the Zerglings. Kelazhur's little attack here is getting some serious work done. He's going to pick off this hatchery in a moment, and again, it's Ghosts here that can snipe down a couple of the units that want to run on in. Elazer's going to lose drones in this position as well. Now, he has 88, and he's got a lot more bases where those ones came from as well, but especially if we get a few more snipes off, I mean, this is still value you are finding here as Kelazhur, who's got bases mining as well, and probably got to feel pretty good about that. No, that was not a bad few moments for him. Well, Elazer going to spend the last of his bank for the moment here, as Lings and Hydras will begin to rush on forward. Pulling out of there, getting away for now. Also just going to bring the Bio Army back to the right side. Medevac's going to load themselves up, get set to send a little bit of aggression somewhere onto the map here. Where are we going to go to is, I guess, the big question mark. Is we've got ourselves a few change-ins continuing to advance forward. Change-ins that will be shot down, I imagine, in the next couple of moments. Tank wasted no time at all to get rid of that. Bio continuing after those Zerglings, some more Lings taking damage, and just going to be seeing the Bane Hydra Force still through the bottom side, coming across there as we do rush into the top. A couple of Spore Crawlers already going down. Our Medevacs will load, and away they go. Let's have now Medevacs loaded again. That is another Medevac shot down. Load one more time. Our Vipers will start to consume up some buildings, get their energy up once again. 15 Banes in production. A couple of creep teamers coming through. Black creep spread still coming down. Our tanks, marines, marauders all continuing to be built, and just going to be seeing a few ghosts pressing forwards. A little bit of creep spread being denied. Mine's going to burrow, two of them going down already, and it's nice for Elazer to get rid of a couple. This game obviously calming down a few moments. Definitely feel like it's helped Elazer, no? I mean, he's got a big bank ready to go again. Doesn't feel like Kelazhur is really taking advantage of the calm. You know, it doesn't feel like Kelazhur suddenly got a base up that he didn't have before or anything. And I suppose that's what I'm mostly concerned about, is a few more units popping up. He's going to roll over the right-hand side. Medevac's pulling back a little bit. I like this from Kelazhur. If you can hold this forward position, it's not like Elazer has like a bunch of tech to help bust this location down, like a few Vipers, and otherwise it's just Lingbane Hydra at the moment. see coming across, Ling Bane coming over. We do have our Sensitive out here to warn Kelazhur. I mean, this is probably the best place Elazer can hit, because Kelazhur's putting a lot of the attention on the center of the map now instead. So yeah, this right side gets busted, and it does just feel like the game just completely slowed down, and suddenly there's creep spread everywhere. Elazer has almost full control. He's retaken the bases Kelazhur denied and more on top of it, and like I said, it just doesn't feel like Kelazhur has really benefited at all from this game having nothing happen for a little while. It really feels like it's been anything but great for him. Just trying to force that way forward. I mean, Kelazhur's army is still going to be great, and it's still going to be big as well, I think, most importantly. I mean, we're talking about a 143 to 116 army supply count. So Elazer needs to take a fight, rebuild, and fight again, and of course he does have the bank to do that. Does he have the lava to do it? Yeah, pretty much. He's got 34 banked up already, and he's already started up a bunch of stuff recently. I just feel like Elazer could maybe make a bit more preparation just in case this game doesn't get finished off in the next little while. I just feel like there could be a little bit more prep to helping out in that situation. Perhaps. Fire pressing through, units setting up on either side. So see that creep still edging forward here and trying to get in range. Deny that CC on the right, and well, Kelazhur is very happy just to sit, try, survive, and do what he can, but on his way to Blue Flame. Again, Hellbats have been decided to be pretty useful in the late game against Lings and Broodlings, but if he even gets the money to kind of rebuild into Hellbats at any point. Guess if you Hydras do well to just keep this base from coming back online again. Kelazhur taking that one base to the top has basically cost him the chance of keeping this base up. And Elazer taking the bottom right bases is just a sign as well that Kelazhur is in trouble, because it means that Kelazhur is losing bases, which Elazer is essentially taking twice in the same game, because he's got the top left versions of them. Now having the bottom right as well means he is mining the extra bases needed to overcome even an 18k resource loss lead for Kelazhur, and probably even more than that. I mean, when you're mining the base of your opponents, that's one base extra for you and one less base for them, so it's kind of a net 2 base difference in resources available. Those are some nice snipes, though. Viper's going down. Unfortunately, it comes after the tanks get abducted in, but we still managed to find ourselves, well, a chance to kill a hatch down here. We killed off a bunch of Vipers. Some Hydras went down, too. And as we continue over in this direction, right away, it doesn't really feel like there's enough here at all for Elazer to deal with this, so his main army has to move down. Does Kelazhur have a way to deal with the main army? Probably not. He doesn't have too much splash damage really in play at the moment, unfortunately. It's going to be what costs him. There we go. He's going to start running in. A couple of Widow Mines with the tanks. We'll do decently here, and well, help Kelazhur out on the start. Again, Elazer just has so much rebuild money ready to go, though. I think that's where Kelazhur is absolutely going to fall into the biggest trap of all, and not be able to really afford anything on the tail end of this. He's got no gas either, Kelazhur, so he's actually really struggling in that regard. And that's going to be one more thing that he will just struggle with towards the end of this game. Something that I just don't think he's going to find an answer to. Knock down a little Ling here. The CC is going to be able to land. It's just not rebuilding quickly. And at this point, if you're rebuilding Mass Marine, you're not rebuilding correctly either. Elazer needs some Overlords. He's got 10 of them on the way, and then he'll probably be remaxed moments later. As he's even adding on Neural Parasite for Infestors. He's finally getting some extra spellcasting tech up. Elazer just full control here on Tropical Sacrifice. Some touchy moments at certain points. It wasn't an entire game of control. You know, it wasn't an entire game where he was just looking completely unstoppable or anything of the sorts. Maybe worth keeping that in mind, but yeah, I do think we are looking at a Game 2 victory for Elazer. Tying this series 1-1. It is a best of 5, of course. All tanks, Marauder, Marines all setting up. Just going to be seeing our Lings back around the right side. Gonna come through for Marauder for Sensor Tower. It's still scary for Liz to go and take a big fight because he obviously feels as though the Terran army is powerful and very defensively set up, which is true. But it's also a point now where actually it's not as bad as it once was. You know, before there was much larger army supply for the Terran than the Zerg, and that's not as much of the case anymore. It used to be larger than it is right now, at least, so something else just to think about in terms of how the game has been going. Eight more SCVs going down, 8 more SCVs that we can't really afford. Eight SCV losses, just going to be seeing Kelazhur at least catching a couple of these infestors right here with that scan, finding some Morphine Banelings. His army supply is once again gigantic, 147. He needs to look to overwhelm one time and just then never let Elazer back into the game. That's how he still has a win condition in this game number 2. That's the one thing he can look to help him out properly here is, let's see if Elazer can take good of a fight. It would seem so. So far, the fight's been great for Elazer, delivering more than what he needed. And crashing forward, Elazer already with reproduction on the way. Massive fungal on these Marines as well. No follow-up on that, unfortunately, but generally set you up into a pretty good spot. And do you think, guys, that we are really, again, talking about our final minutes here of game number 2? It is just about Elazer finding that one final decisive fight, but we really shouldn't be too far from it anymore. Marines, the Marauders coming into play. You know, Spine's gathered up on that bottom right corner as well, so they're just gathering, waiting, and again, that's a base that Kelazhur kind of didn't want Elazer to ever get to, and now Elazer has full control over. 30 minutes here on Tropical Sacrifice, as these two are continuing to go the distance against each other. Even fighting through the spine seemed expensive for Kelazhur as Elazer, just that amount of stacked defense, and Kelazhur just lifting, running away, and it's going to invite Elazer just to run at some of these tanks, clear out some of this splash damage, which is still kind of the scary parts of the game. In theory, fungal growth catching the wrong medevacs, not the ones with units inside. Does it really matter? I don't think so. Elazer should have enough to power through to victory here for game number 2, tying this best of 5 up 1 apiece, and setting us into a game number 3 with everything level here between the two liquid players in the winner bracket of the WardiTV European League 2022 playoffs. Fire Force going to start to move forward just a little bit, and it's going to be seeing a CC coming up on the low ground. Still a lot of Lings around that upper left side, and the Banes will start to morph. Spine Crawlers being brought in. We'll go for a wraparound on the planetary. It's a Ghost, just getting neuraled, a little EMP. Again, just anything you can add in at this point for as a Elazer. Why not go for a little bit of flair to finish this series off? Can't blame him. He's absolutely trouncing Kelazhur in the current position that he's in, so yeah, can't disagree with the way that he's approaching. He's doing things right. He's doing what he needs to do. Like I say, very hard to criticize him in this situation. As a few snipes coming down onto some of these Hydras. Hydras taking a decent chunk of damage here and there. Marines and Marauders continuing forward, and just going to be having the Terran army still not quite yet making its way across the map for one final push, but maybe Elazer should also just be on his way for one final push. Tanks just on siege. Well, not that having these siege probably would have made much difference for Kelazhur, but it's an even more inviting moment for Elazer than it maybe should have been. As Elazer now will chase down what I think is just the last little group of units that Kelazhur has available to him. Trying to lift up into medevacs, not all of them even fit. There's so few medevacs left. 33 minutes deep. Kelazhur is now having 9 infestors made against him. And like I say, this game is kind of coming to a close, guys. Is that a baneling? Oh, SCVs, you might not want to actually attack that. Wasn't so bad, I suppose, but a little bit of comedy as the game still not quite over, but still expected to be over sooner rather than later. Oh, that's a nice fungal to end it on, isn't it? He didn't get the follow-up though, he missed it. The infestor was too far back apparently. Kelazhur takes that as an invite to still not leave the game. He's going to decide that enough is enough, and that this one is absolutely over. GG's Elazer ties the series 1-1 in the best of 3. Best of 5. Game number 3, and it's inside and out for this next one as we come out of that exciting Tropical Sacrifice game for the most part. I will not lie, I will admit that I think the last 5 to 8 minutes, maybe not so exciting. It definitely just felt the moment after that Kelazhur big push across the map killed the top left base. The game slowed down, and from there it just felt like Kelazhur suddenly had no chance at all. Like, that was him clearly deciding to let up a little bit, but I just don't really know what he did with that time compared to what Elazer got done. Like, Elazer got so much done in that downtime, whereas Kelazhur really didn't. I think at the end of the day is the honest situation of it all, so GG's, and here we are now for more games as we get going on Inside and Out. Kelazhur top right, Elazer bottom left. 1-1 tied up in this best of 5 series. Good. At your gas pool. You see that Overlord coming out to the upper right. I'm just going to be trying to find a little bit of information, see what's going on. In the next couple of moments, say Rax coming up after this. CC first, a little bit of a difference then. CC first, Rax double gas is the most notable part, because there's a couple ways you can get going after a CC first, and to go into the, in my eyes, this kind of gas, double gas variation is going to be kind of intriguing. So you could go just double racks and some extra pressure, but yeah, this one really suggests that we've got ourselves a little bit of an eye on some kind of a plan here. So I guess FPS is just going to drop for a split second. Just have to refresh a page. Obviously, while I'm tabbed out, the FPS decides to cheat the bed sometimes. Well, not sometimes, all the time, because SC2 has a FPS cap when you're not tabbed in, and that's obviously not really ideal if you're just streaming and tabbing out quickly. One in TvZ. Best time to balance wine about TvZ? No, balance wine. Unless roaches win this game, then we can balance wine. Elazer wasn't so hot with the roach attack in the first game. Like, there was moments that looked good for him, but overall Kelazhur kept enough control in the game and was able to keep enough visible, I would say, to kind of be okay about it. So guess we will see. It's going to be seeing our SCV scout. He's going to notice the first roach. Now, CC first against roach is a bit rough because you don't get units up quite as quickly. That's obviously a lot of roaches coming across. Medevac, Cyclone, Marines on the way. First bunker has begun to build here, so the preparation is being made to keep yourself safe in this. These roaches going out across the top side of the map, about to move in, and the fact the bunker is done is going to be very good for Kelazhur. Obviously, at this point as a Elazer, you kind of want to get the SCVs in to surround this bunker and then start targeting them down. Because obviously it's going to take a while for 4 Marines to kill off all these roaches. So the bulkiness of the roaches is what's going to allow you to really get damage done. I kind of like those Marines jumping out. I mean, kind of risky, but I could see what the idea was. If they jump out and they go after the Ravager and the Roach that's low HP, it doesn't even matter because they're getting them anyways. It's actually turned into a really good defense for Kelazhur. He's getting a ton of value off of all of this. 7 SCVs lost only. And he kills off all the Roach Ravager. He's going to go Fusion Core behind this. He's going to go Battlecruiser follow-up in a game where Elazer's wing count is naturally limited because of the later third base and the investment into early Roaches. Okay, I'm kind of all about this for now. I'm kind of interested. We do see the Marines, the Cyclone coming through here, and we are going to get straight away a lock on to an Overlord. So Ovi being denied straight off the bat, and the Queen's taking a little bit of a nibble from the attack as well. It's going to loop back around now into the main base, and a few of these drones continuing to go down. Gonna be seeing the BC then halfway done. Obviously, the Queen count continue to rise, so it looks as though Elazer's prepped for BC should be decent, but it depends. I mean, right now, this Medivac is moving the Queens around a bit. If you move all these Queens to the third and the BC teleports into the main, I'm telling you, that's an awesome opportunity to get some damage done, right? Up and down, left and up, having a bit of a dance around. So far, good. So good. BC gonna be popping. Our Lings heading up into the natural, where I got a couple Hellions. You're gonna see the BC gonna teleport back down the bottom left, and drones immediately in a bit of trouble there. Spore Crawler building will be taking some shots. And yeah, we start to fight the Queens, but there's plenty of transfusions available. The Link counterattack not going anywhere. Wouldn't even really say it's getting rid of any units in a kind of useful manner. Maybe more than anything, this battle cruiser is just going to open up that attack at the front. We see a few more Lings being made. Bane Nest readying soon. Probably going to need a few Banelings to help out with this attack that is making its way across. We're going to lose an Overlord. These Hellions are going to run straight into this mineral line, and there's nothing here right now. A few Lings just popping out. They've repeatedly seen Hellions not quite do as much as they could have done today for Kelazhur, and that almost felt like one of those times. 4 drones only, and a mineral line that was immediately defended by nothing. I mean, at least the Hellions got out for a bit, but there's no power to this push, guys. SCV's going down to just a very small Link counter that is breaking through just some wall off here and there, and as the BCs come back in, you actually see somehow there's a Hellion morphed into a Hellbat in the main base. How the hell this got here, I really do not know, but yeah, I guess that's also kind of a factor right now. As we come in, a couple of drones are still being dropped off. HP Medivac gets out with a couple of Hellbats as well. Do we do enough damage, I suppose, is the question at the end of the day, and I think straight away I want to lead towards no, probably not. It doesn't feel like it, because Elazer is, I mean, then I look at the supplies, and actually Kelazhur's up by 6 workers, but I felt like that counterattack of Elazer really threw Kelazhur off a lot. Elazer's going to play Roach Corrupt on the follow-up to this. This is mech from Kelazhur. It's committed to being mech, so Elazer can just play an aggressive Roach Corrupted timing on what is one of the smaller maps here. Will that work off of being behind on the economy this early on? I guess that's also a pretty reasonable question. Hellions getting rid of some additional creep spread here for the moment, so getting some extra damage done. The double BC. Tell you what, maybe this double BC could be kind of fun on this hatchery, but Predators are starting to come out. I guess not too many yet. We do not have Yamato for the battle cruisers. I wonder if Kelazhur is kind of meant to have that by now. It generally feels like it, right? This hatchery is low, but as it finishes, it can obviously be transfused, so there's no longer going to be as much of a threat. Oh, wow, the BCs teleport into the main? Jump on these Queens? That's a very interesting choice, because obviously the Corruptors now have guaranteed kills on these BCs because they will not be able to get away, and I feel like this is a bad decision from Kelazhur, dropping a Mule to try and repair it, but I mean, what, we're going to lose multiple BCs for killing a cluster of Queens. I can't say I like this at all. Here comes the second battlecruiser death of this game, and the third battlecruiser is going to have a teleport, so this one gets out. This was the original BC. He gets out alive, but yeah, that was not the play from Kelazhur. Jumping on the Queens seems nice, but now your BC count is down. And like I say, it feels like you've got Yamato here as well. That Yamato cannon just now coming online, so these extra Corruptors coming up. Just going to be seeing the Roaches. Corruptors all continuing through. You have Hellions there going to get turned around by Roaches already. We have got Cyclones. They're going to have their Cyclone upgrade. Backfield Accelerator, increasing the damage they do to the armored units with their lock-ons. It's kind of an important part of this, right? I mean, against everything that you're building, the Cyclone's actually going to be pretty good, so they can get that upgrade online. It's pretty reasonable, and right now, obviously, it feels like Elazer can't really go busting across. I just wonder how... I mean, it already feels still pretty good for Kelazhur, just like I say, reckless with the battlecruisers. And it could have just been better still, is all I'm saying. We're just coming across. Hellions taking some damage. Just going to be splitting our units up a little bit, as we do have +1 melee, +1 missiles, bailing speed, all continuing through. All three of these BCs going to head down to the bottom right-hand side and ready themselves to maybe make a bit of a play here, move into this 6 o'clock location. Well, again tonight already, and I mean, to be fair, I did think Elazer was going to end up being a much more aggressive player. This time we do have Yamatos, so we drop the Yamatos, we teleport away instantly. That's always the value of these BCs. You have to have Corruptors to chase the BCs off. And then the BCs just get free Corruptor kills with the Yamatos and then teleport away. So it feels like the Corruptors are kind of useless, but like I say, they are realistically essential. Big push from Kelazhur. Short maps are easy to get across without Elazer interjecting on the way over to the other side. We got ourselves sieged a little bit late, arguably, as these tanks are putting in work, though, and wow, Elazer's supply freaking melted just then, huh? Wow, Elazer's supply completely disappears, loses the base on the left. He does rebuild into a lot more Roach Ravager. Obviously, the BCs have not made their way back across the map just yet, so they've still yet to make their reappearance here in this game, as we do have ourselves the couple Corruptors that are going across the other side, getting caught by some of the Cyclones turrets. BC's just going to sit here and say, hello! Are they really in trouble? No. And yeah, Corruptors... a bit of a fruitless adventure across the map. Maybe you could argue it pulls Kelazhur's army away, but I don't think Kelazhur hates the idea of pulling back a little bit anyway to just reset after what's already been a pretty successful setup for himself. Tanks continue to fight. Roach is taking a lot of damage. Good corrosive bars because the tanks are a little bit too heavily stacked up. Might be nice to split those up a little bit. Go Broods against this mech nonsense, but can you go Broods? Because there's already Thors coming out. Thors obliterate the Brood Lords. I mean, a lot of the time, yeah, Broods probably are necessary, but it's not like Kelazhur isn't prepared to fight against Brood Lords either. I think Elazer was never in a position to necessarily rush up to Broods, because if he was rushing up to Broods before now, he might have just died completely to that previous push as well, right? So I don't think he would have had Broods in time, because again, this is a rough start for Elazer. While he did kind of get some BC kills, he did lose. You know, he was down on workers for quite a bit. Kill off the bottom right, now we get away. How many BCs still alive? Still all three of the ones that were rebuilt into. down the left again. A little bit less kind of tank heavy right now against these Ravagers, and obviously the lack of armor tag on the Ravagers means they're not quite as plugged down, but does also mean that the Ravagers can maybe get in Bile a bit and get out quite easily, get some shots on Thors and then kite away. It's going to be seen, obviously, Kelazhur establishing that upper left corner base, so bringing that one online as well. We know that is going to be a lead to something successful generally. You go forward again here, and we do drop some biles, but these are not free, right? I mean, even if you bile down a tank, losing a Ravager and a couple of Banelings still makes it a fine trade for the Terran player. The problem, the Ravagers are expensive, so every time you lose one of those, it's just not a cost that comes without being kind of considered. There is the Greatest Spire, so we are going to at least see some Broodlords on the way in. Like I say, I like that we've already got kind of a baseline of Thors to work with here. Again, the tanks obviously sometimes sieging here a little bit too clumped up, you could argue, and maybe could be spread a bit better, but these are also sieges that are happening kind of just as fights are breaking out, so I can also understand that Kelazhur doesn't have all the time in the world to necessarily be changing things up. A few more biles, keep the Thor back. Queens, Ravagers, back around this side, gonna get a few more biles up in the sky and knock down another tank or two. Bottom right base is going to be denied again, and that's one of the things to consider in this game. The Colors has been very good at denying different bases here. Neural Parasite's not ready yet. Neural, you imagine, is one of the big things you're going to need as a Zerg to break out of this grasp the Terran currently has on you in this game. Definitely keeping you pretty well controlled. We do, well, again, Yamato and teleport out, and Elazer just types GG. Supply keeps dropping, can't replace it, and Kelazhur takes a 2-1 lead in this game. As we have in the top right corner, our red Zerg player who needs to win this to tie this series up and look to keep his winner bracket life alive in this event. It is Elazer. Bottom right, our blue Terran from Team Liquid is Kelazhur. Obviously, win this, guys, as well, and you're guaranteed top 4 in the tournament. No, top 3 even, because there would be winner bracket finals that you move into. So top 3 guaranteed if you win this. So what's top 3 prize money? Top 3 is a guaranteed $300, and again, plus prize money from the group stages as well. Not bad at all. Of course, there's a WardiTV 2022 seed up for grabs as well for the players. So first place gets a guaranteed seed into WardiTV 2022. And that means that they don't have to go through any qualifying process or worry about their Wardy points necessarily to guarantee their entry to that event, which will be something we'll talk more about after this coming season of DreamHack. We'll start having the WardiTV 2022 information announced. Hatch coming down, Bull coming down, get a factory on the way as well. CC building up from Kelazhur. We've seen our Queens and our Lings continuing through. And just going to be seeing our factory. It's about halfway done for the moment. So far, so good. Our Overlord out on that bottom side, hanging out as well. Another depot about to finish up. Got a drone over here, build up a hatchery. Triple CC from Kelazhur. We've not seen too many triple CCs, right? He's been pretty adventurous with his builds. I've seen CC first, but that led into some pressure. I've seen some Banshees early. Obviously, dare to see one of the more standard maps we're going to play in general in this map pool, and going triple CC here definitely doesn't seem too wild of a plan. Frank's gonna go moving across and getting sent. Overlord just hanging around. There is a Banshee for safety here from Kelazhur. Let's see if he ends up going Cloak. Sometimes you get Cloak because why the heck not? Just build 2 Banshees anyway. But if it is just going to be 1, I imagine this will be a Cloakless Banshee situation. Initially. Shows 883 subs on stream and 939 chat. That's because Twitch uses sub points. It's not a bug. Actually, it is like actually a thing where sub points are basically a when you tier 2 sub, you count as 1 subscriber, but you count as 2 sub points. So Twitch counts it as sub points, and I count it as an individual sub still, because I don't know. It's just always the way I've done it, you know. But yeah, it reads a bit different in Twitch chat, I guess, because of that. I actually think they changed it so I can actually edit it. Can I actually do that now? Give me a sec. Manage goals. End goal. Manage goal. Total subs. There we go. Fixed. Easy. Alright, so, we get ourselves going is the Hellions through the center of the map. Engineering bays, barracks, stim will continue to go. A couple lings get picked off immediately, and these Hellions will continue through, looking to try and snag a couple of kills and some queens. I guess it's okay. I fixed it now, I should say. If someone wants to sub to test it out, it should be proper now. But yeah, I actually forgot, because it was actually, I think, only in the last week or two, they actually changed it so you can use actual sub count instead of sub points. Because I never count sub points. Like, to me, like, sub points are like a little bonus thing, but like, I never look at those to see how the stream's doing, you know? Because if a couple of people decide to tier 2 or tier 3 sub, that's great and awesome, but I see that as a bonus rather than like me trying to encourage X amount of people to sub, because that's just something I've always looked at as a number, I guess. The empty medevac going to go and maybe pick up a few Hellions. A little Hellion drop in the main could be nice. I swear down this series, oh, what a changeling though. I swear down this series, there's been so many moments where Kelazhur's had again just a chance to like blow up a mineral line with Hellions, and then it hasn't done quite as much as I thought he would. There's one spotting Overlord on that right-hand side as the lone Zegling here, and that Overlord will spot this medevac, which actually dodges away. I don't think Elazer's seen this. This could be quite a few drones going down. The Hellions aren't the healthiest going in. Now Elazer recognizes it. One drone so far. Oh my god. Elazer has clearly lost just too many drones the other day to Spirit. Refuses to lose any more. Because the other day when he played Spirit in the group stages, he kind of got bopped. His drones just died repeatedly, and it wasn't really a competition at all. Sub points are for Twitch. You know how much they need to pay you. No, so the reason sub points exist is because when they release tier 2 and tier 3 subs, they try to use it as a selling point. So like a tier 3 sub counts as 6 sub points, and a tier 2 is 2. And basically you unlock sub emotes and stuff, like sub emote slots, based off of sub points rather than actual subscriber numbers. So there's a way to try and encourage people to like help unlock sub emotes, but then they release gifted subs, which is just a much better way of doing it. So yeah. So yeah, the sub points. There is a reason for it. There's a reason they exist. It's just not really very well utilized, and I honestly wouldn't be too surprised if they removed it again in the future. Although I guess I don't know. It's a weird one. 47ers. Thank you so much for gifting out a sub to White Angel Prime. There you go. I fixed it. It did work. It worked and I baited a gifted sub. What a beautiful day. Well, our Marine's getting through for a couple queen kills here, and good little drop, 2 queens, a bit of creep spread, and a handful of lings before we escape away. 4th CC already building. Kelazhur continuing to play the macro-oriented game for the moment. Got the group of units on the bottom right as well, and if we can just clear out some of this creep on the bottom right, pulls a laser away, maybe the top left comes under fire again. These are the little moves which can really go the distance and really kind of open up a game of TvZ. She's standing fight here for a little bit. We're going to lift up. That's a good Widow Mine shot. Honestly, hits a good amount of units. Not a bad effort at all. More stuff like that you can do, the better off you're generally going to end up being. Medevacs are back around to the bottom and just going to be seeing more of this army of Kelazhur coming across as again the 4th base getting established. Elazer on his way to Hive, playing a much faster Hydrogen than he did on Tropical Sacrifice, not sticking on the pure Ling Bane for anywhere near as long. To move up, just going to see an Overlord we can chip away at already. These Lings and Banes start to come running forward as well. Medevacs will just evacuate once more though. This is a massive drop into the main. I like it, to be honest, but what did he see this with? Like, that's a lot of units he moved to the main, like more than he would have moved here just against a normal drop or so. That's a 6th sense from Elazer, because he didn't have anything actually in range to see the liftoff. As far as I'm aware. Like, he flew through an Overlord, but he was already moving before the Overlord spotted it, unless I'm completely mistaken. That was a nice move from Elazer, denies that possibility of Kelazhur. Just needs a couple more CCs or depots just to get unsupply blocked again and to finish maxing out as he gets his 4th base established. Has a lot of units on the right side of the map, and obviously that could be a problem if you're not careful. But this Lane Bane still moving down, and here we go. Just going to go jump on the 4th, and like I said, you've got a lot of units out of position, so defending this is not easy. 7 SCVs already going down, a cancel on a 5th CC that's building. Lings getting across the other side. Maybe a dead siege tank there if you don't get anything on top of it to help. Kelazhur is darting forward with all of these units, but I don't think he's doing very well. I think he just lost a chunk of them to actually like a burrowed baneling bomb. I think he lost a lot on that right side because he was meant to have a lot more there. And Kelazhur's supply has dropped huge. I think, yeah. So what was that, about 1030, 1020? I'll go back and double check that one, guys. I'm pretty sure he walked straight over some burrowed banelings, and Kelazhur is now fallen quite heavily behind. That's all it takes. Obviously, your 4th base denied, and on top of that, you lose the army that is on the map. That if it was home, the base wouldn't have been denied as well. Everything just consolidating to be a advantage to Elazer. Going to tie this up 2-2 ahead of Moondance for map 5. Elazer's just going to start collapsing on all sides. I think Kelazhur is not really recovering from that supply drop that was off screen at all at the moment. At least this orbital lives. We have that Plan G Fortress in a forward position, trying to help hold this location, hold that position as best as possible. Just going to be seeing a few lurkers morphing in as well, just in case Kelazhur's issues aren't already mounting up. He doesn't really have a good way to deal with lurkers. He's not on ghosts already, which obviously would be the main way to deal with this, if nothing else. I think he's going to try and knock through this set of rocks, open this up, and, well, basically set up for what I feel like could be a big ol' attack. Try and round this out. Rich Vespian gas base coming online from Elazer. This drop seen by the army. Maybe even got to see the army a little bit is, well, we've got the lurkers and they're just going to start running in. They don't have adaptive talents yet. Well, I mean, if we just blow up this base, we probably don't even need Adaptive Talons. The Banes don't even go for the base because they can just let the Lurkers kill it off, and the Banes will just crash into even just Marauders. It's not super efficient, but does it need to be? No, probably not, guys. I feel like we very much so are on our way to Game 5 of this series, which will be on Moondance. A couple of Libs are going to push the Lurkers back for a bit, but these are very minor temporary solutions to the larger problem of Kelazhur being horrendously behind at the moment. Elazer. Too much stuff. Lurkers, gonna fire up a storm. Lings, Lurkers. Again, do you want to run in here? Maybe not. But he's going to do so anyways. He actually gets forward enough, and the Banes blow up a lot of the bio. The Lurkers are in range of the Liberators, so it's not the prettiest of positions. Maybe running past would have been nicer, but I suppose he felt like he didn't actually have the time to fully run past. They lose a lot of these Lurkers, but again, the rebuild's already coming through pretty quickly. The only issue there is you don't really knock down any economy at the same time. Typically, you want to take down some eco, so the Terran player is going to struggle to rebuild off the back of a fight like that. It's typically one of the larger goals, is we knock down some additional Crypt Tumors here and there. Mine's going off. Our Banes, our Hydras continue to push through. Just going to come around. Planetary Fortress is going to get busted immediately. Just going to see our Hydras coming through there as well. 10 SCVs have been killed. And we're just going to be seeing the group spread continue to be denied as the army of Kelazhur keeps pushing on through. +3 armor about to finish from Kelazhur's side of things. The Spire army getting onto the Hydras in that bottom right side. These Banelings are going to end up cancelling up. We drop a couple more snipes. A chance to maybe move over to that far right side. We're just going to see the Medivacs instead going to pull back away over here. Force stemming forward a little bit. Couple mines getting burrowed up. 40 Lings, 20 Banes, +3 melee. All being brought into play at the moment. Those two Vipers. I walk a bit too far forward, a bit too close to the sun. Again, this is Elazer just with the entire map behind him. Bank is incredible. 4-base Terran just cannot hold on forever. At some point, the 4-base Terran will break, and it's really a matter of when, not if. Space gets taken down again. The only thing you could maybe do better here as a Laser right now would be if you could maybe cancel that new base as well. And just really slow down the rebuild of the Terran, but even then it doesn't really matter too much. It's still a while without a 4th, it's still no access to a 5th. I'm just gonna go moving down the bottom side and Laser. Just again spreading his economy between his new bases and getting everything online, and again a lot more of what we've just already been talking about and everything, guys. Lings do come through and gonna find themselves a surround on these Marauders, so gonna be able to grab a bit of pickoffs there. And now we're not even bothering building Banes and stuff, we're just flooding with Lings and Hydras and forcing the base to lift. This is gonna be GG's, and this is gonna go to game number 4 in this, game number 5 of this best of Can side of game number 5, our blue Terran player. This is Kelazhur, and he's consistently been the one to break out into the lead in these series. Let's see if he can keep the lead here this time around. Top left is Elazer. See what goes down. Game 5 hype, guys. Game 5 hype. Let's do this. Let's enjoy it. Good start to the playoffs today. Hatch going down. Getting set up. Offload coming around the sides, just checking to see if it's a proxy racks for map number 5. As we have gone the entire distance here in this series. Reaper starts to move out. No gas. Number 2 yet from Kelazhur. We'll see if he wants to take it. It is a small map, so you could argue that the second gas is definitely a safer way to play things and generally the way you want to be going about things, but it's also understandable that it's an easy map to build a quick 3cc on, so because you've got that in base, he does take the second gas. Those Kelazhur not getting too greedy. Now he gets himself a drone to start out with, which would also always be nice. How have the games been today? Oh yeah, the games have been great today. I think every series has had good games, right guys? I feel like it's definitely gotten better as the day went on as well, but like, every match so far has been good. Yeah, it's been fun. Yeah, definitely the best day of European League we've had. Probably the best day of games we've had in the last couple of weeks, I'd say, quite comfortably. Not bad at all for the Reaper. Getting a couple of lings as we do just have our ling speed till coming through. Hatchery coming up. Drones in production. Queens here trying to get the Reaper, but the creep tumor will be denied. And the Reaper gets pushed away. So yeah, I mean, getting a creep tumor as well is really nice. I mean, that really is a lot of what you're aiming for here as Kelazhur early, so good start for him as he's starting to add on Hellions. He's also adding an attack lab to the barracks. This could be... I guess we're just going to go Banshee, right? It's looking at the gas available. I guess we just go Cloak Banshee straight away, and that's just going to be his way to set up here on Moondance. Don't hate it. Feels reasonable. That's a Raven. You know what? In my head I was even thinking. I was like... yeah, you know, Raven could be kind of cool. We are going to go Raven, so that's pretty nice. Let's see, Reaper and a few Hellions poking up the ramp here, getting some damage onto a Queen. The Fusion Core on the way up from Kelazhur. Final nest in the building on the side of a laser. It's going to be seeing our Hellions of Kelazhur back to the center. Just going to be seeing the couple extra refineries continuing through. Queens are off to the right. Just going to be seeing our drones finishing up. And our Hellion Raven combo. Kelazhur just going to be seeing what it can do. Into a battle cruiser as well is really surprising. That's actually really interesting. Yo, what's up, RJT Streaming? Thank you so much for the Prime sub. Yeah, the BC is such an oddity to me after this start. And what's cool is with the auto turret Hellion setup, you can do a pretty good job of fighting queens and like trading queen HP, so that when the BC shows up, it can then have a better time of potentially closing out on some of these queens and actually continue to stick around. We're going to play mech once it did gain from Kelazhur. I mean, it did go very well for him on inside and out. Did not feel like Elazer had a very good answer to mech, and it all came off of a strong start. And like I say, to go Raven into the mech, to me, is a little bit surprising. And so I think Elazer is probably going to be caught off guard by this. Spore Crawlers, none. 11 queens is obviously very good, but not having a spore means that you've always got to rely on the queens. You can never just rely on just the spores or whatever, right? Refinery goes down, a link pulling across, SCV taking damage. Gonna drop the other refinery down, and that is going to be the link able to take the SCV down as we get rid of a couple of creep tumors so far. BC teleports into the main. He's going to go straight after the queen. Starts to target the one with the transfusion available. Although was a little bit late to that target. Raven at the front is going to go down. We're going to lose one queen in the main, 2 queens in the main. And now we can turn towards the mineral line, and the other queens are on their way across, but the drones will have to start pulling, and some mining time will be lost if nothing else. Well, drones, honestly not too bad. I would have liked it if the Raven survived. Would have been cool to see the Raven further down the line. The laser straight into the Spire here. Get ready to go Corruptors, of course. We will probably see something similar to what we saw previously in the sense of playing kind of, you know, playing the Corruptor Roach sort of setup and kind of just going from there. This hatchery can't be transfused, of course, until it's finished, and that is actually going to be a cancel. So nice to get rid of a base here for a little bit, and pulls the queens off creep, so it takes a bit longer for them to come back in the main, where, guess what, there's still no Spore Crawler, so drones will be in trouble here. And now the Hellions going to run in on this side. How many times have we had Hellions that have been so close to killing so many drones, and then they mess it up? And this felt like maybe another one of those potential moments. They finally got a shot off towards them. All of the Lings going down. There's no roaches yet. I don't think Elazer's expecting this to be a mech follow-up, honestly, because he's not set up on any sort of roaches or anything. 2 Lings have stopped these extra Hellion shots going off, and maybe saved a few additional drones, but was it enough? Because at the end of the day, 18 drones down. The supply for Elazer is low. Yes, you're banking to build Corruptors, but even when you build the Corruptors and spend your money, you're still down on supply. A little Ling counterattack is not going to go very far. A couple of Marines that are fairly meaningless will go down. 22 dead drones in the game. And we're getting up towards 3 BCs now, as well as this BC. It's like, oh, maybe I can get rid of that queen there. They were just about stepped off creep for a second. We are dropping the transfusions now to keep the Overlord alive at least. Continuing up, a couple of drones still being picked off. Drone after drone dropping. 3, 4, 5. Nope, just 4 workers going down. Good time to teleport actually was the right time. Otherwise, he would have lost the BC. Boys, what an attack from the BC boys. 4 kills, 13 kills. The Hellions obviously got to run in there as well. That was fantastic. And the Elazer is playing mass catch-up on his eco right now. So going to be tough, because if you're rebuilding your economy, then Kelazhur is going to be building up an advantage, and then you can't bust him. I don't know what... It looks as though Elazer is just going to go for the 3 base economy bust, but I think Kelazhur is going to be too strong. Okay, now he adds on drones. He's doing this in a weird order. He built roaches. He built more roaches, then he built drones. And it felt like, obviously, in this case, maybe you just build the drones, then build the roaches. I know he wants to make sure he is safe against the Hellions, but... Hellions do come forward. A couple quick humans go down. So we need to get rid of all the creep here as we come across. And that's again to this mineral line for even more drone kills. 4 workers picked off, and again, at this point, Hellions are very expendable as well, right? So you very much so can just run in here, get a few drones, and then back it up. Lose a couple of Hellions, doesn't really matter. Cyclone's about to have their mag field, so they're about to be great as well. At least Elazer now is at 93 drones. His economy is set up. Once he rebuilds a couple OVs, he will get to max out. But it's already going to be against an almost max Terran mech army. And that's the issue. That this mech army is just so close to maxing itself. Tough one, guys. Begins into the center here, going to go diving through. And it doesn't seem like Elazer's noticed. Like, I don't know why, because he's seen it for a long time there. But these Hellions are like running away, like they're about to get caught. Little does he know he's actually chasing down the Roach Force. I don't think he realizes that, because obviously there's no real use for these Hellions. They could have continued to kill off the mineral line. I think Elazer, well, maybe he just feels like he does need them back over here for some reason. DCs are going to get the Queen and the Spawn in this base. Drones will drop down here as well. And while he may have lost the bottom left base, the 5th command center of his own, he's just going to teleport out of here, keep these BCs alive. I mean, just fantastic setup for Kelazhur. Continue to do a ton of damage, looking to go top 3 guaranteed in the WardiTV European League if he wins this series. I mean, it just feels like we're watching one attack after the other with a similar kind of final situation, right? Of just a lot of stuff dies for the Zerg, and now we've got Cyclones getting good lock-ons onto Corruptors. Probably could have stuck around there. I feel like Kelazhur's even being a little bit too cautious. Well, maybe not even too cautious, but he is just being cautious. He doesn't want to get his units called out. He doesn't want to get punished. He's very aware of that, so... So far, so good. Just going to see the Infestation Pit is coming up as well. 28 more Lings producing. A set of Vials going down to take down the rocks. How many drones are dead? You guys want to guess? Okay, you guys can guess how many drones are dead. I'm going to say 63. How many drones do you guys think died? 69, 66, 78, 84, 4? 62! I was so close. Ugh. I was always the best, guys. I always knew. There's just no answer, man. Like, nothing's ever in position. These BCs show up over here. The Hellions were here before. Gonna Yamato the base and probably just try and kill it and teleport out. Yep. We've got the main mech army. Having Banelings roll into it. I mean, the tanks are all in siege. There's probably at some point a good idea to actually just siege those up. That was obviously an awkward fight for Kelazhur, to be fair. I mean, kind of maybe getting a bit too caught up on his own attack on the other side. That shouldn't have been the way it was. Lion Cyclones tanks continue to build. Just going to be seeing our Corruptors going after this planetary fortress, aiming to take this down. SCV's trying to repair it up, but they will not be able to save it. The Cyclones all died to those Banelings, and it does actually feel like it gave Elazer a little bit of a chance in this game, which has been, in my eyes, very Kelazhur dominated. But where those Biles into the BC is not enough to really do any kills. Console resources lost in this game, 10,000 to 15,000, plus 17 Ravages. This is the mech problem, right? It's like so much goes right so far throughout the game, and then you still can't quite win the game, you know? Like, it's one of these things that mech definitely has an issue with. It happens all the time. Alien's getting rid of some creep tumors. Just down the bottom, few Lings is going to run in, go after a missile turret. Other Hellions is going to pop around and just going to be seeing the Ravager Corruptor Force. Over here, we see a few Biles coming into a tank, and well, this base has to lift off, but I mean, it's going to die. The BCs have just decided to run past and go base killing themselves. How do we deal with this army? Going to get this hatchery in the forward position. I mean, am I worried that Kelazhur's not getting to base number 6? Not really. Don't think it's the biggest issue we've ever seen from Kelazhur. I mean, this right side base coming online, so he's getting one base finished up here at least. We're actually going to be at a point there where maybe the BCs didn't even need to teleport away. And with the teleporter in, I guess you can't teleport on top of the Ravagers because they would just bile you instantly, but I feel like if the BCs teleported near these Ravagers, it wouldn't have been bad to come in and just fly on top of them and just get some extra kills. They would have dropped pretty quick. 5 new tanks coming online. Kelazhur trying to get maxed out again. Elazer's really done a good job of surviving in this game where he took so much damage throughout. 65 dead drones. You know, he lost a lot. Multiple times bases cancelled, and again, Kelazhur's not been able to find a way to close this game out to a victory just yet, unfortunately. Knocked down. A little bit on the bottom side. Tanks will be sieging. BC's coming through, taking away some of these roaches. I mean, the BCs have been great throughout this game, consistently showing back up and just being as annoying as possible, as well as they'll make another attempt to take the bottom left base down. Oh, these Thors are just going to donate themselves. Wouldn't mind if they just stopped to attack, actually, as well. A lot of the Ravagers going down there, though. It's not cheap for Elazer, who is going to have the money to rebuild, but it's definitely going to cost a little bit of something. We've got ourselves Great Aspire set up. Corrupt's going to find that floating CC off over to the side. That is going to get pushed away to the far right for the moment. Aspire about to finish. Corruptors coming through. Adrenal Glands 3-3. Ah, nice. The tank's already sieged there, and they get a few Ravages. That's going to slow Elazer down a bit as well. Is Elazer lava starved? No, he's just trying to decide what to build, and he decides to build some Lings. New CC set up from Kelazhur. I think he's finally stabilizing well enough on the far right side. He doesn't have to worry about that portion of the map as much now. Definitely a strong benefit. Well, the game settles at the moment as we have maxed out armies on either side. Kelazhur definitely not seeming comfortable enough to get pushing. I can understand that. He's tried to push a couple times. It's definitely not worked in his favor. Yamato Sia will once again get some Corruptors. BCs teleport away, but at least they weren't poised aggressively for once. There's a couple Cyclones would love to get in and get on top of those Corruptors, get some lock-ons. With the Baneling showing up, the space will go down, and the tank's not in high enough numbers here, although it is going to be Kelazhur who comes up on better supply. And these tanks over here don't even need a siege. They just outnumber so heavily. And it means by not sieging, they can dodge the biles as well. So, a lot going down. A lot of Lings being produced. Like 70 Lings on the way up. And as Kelazhur pushes, he doesn't really have many Hellions. Things don't do great if the tanks are sieged up properly, but yeah, enough Lings, maybe there could be something. There is the first Broodlords on the way in, so just as Kelazhur is pushing, the Broods are going to be ready from Elazer. Kelazhur, if he looks ahead here, should be able to see that. He scans, he'll see the Broods and probably think to himself, do I really want to keep on pushing right now? Apparently he's going to go for it. The Broodlords are going to be under fire from the Thors, but the Thors don't last very long, and now there's no anti-air over here. Kelazhur's going to lose a ton of siege tanks as the Lings just flood forward as well. A couple Hellions showing up to try protect at the very last part of this, but every tank for Kelazhur just got wiped out. Base on the bottom denied as well. That has to be replaced too. Elazer, like I said, to me was completely dead in this game. I really believe it. He got hit by so much harassment earlier, but Kelazhur's just not being able to find the fights in the later stages. Now, it's not like Elazer has a massive bank right now, but he does have a lot more drones mining. Yamato Corruptor that we already find, and we'll now just damage our way through whichever base we can get to. A bunch more Yamatos coming down, and this is going to be stand-and fight territory for a little bit at least. And then just teleporting the BCs home one at a time. We just get that one out alive. I just wanted to finish off one more Corrupted. Now we teleport home, get the repairs going. Thor production continuing. SCV's pulling in. BC's going to start getting repaired as well. Couple Thors coming in from the right-hand side. As we've got Roach, Ravager, Broodlord continuing through. Couple of Broodlings dropping down. Just going to be seeing SCVs and the Mules getting set up. Thor still coming in. Infestors being built. The newer Parasites coming online. I do get a bit more worried for Kelazhur that he will not find a way to close this out. You see our Thor's starting to fire up. Broodlings, or Broodlords, sorry, taking quite some damage. You can see our Hellions morphing into Hellbats and just going to be having the the battle cruisers still around the center of the map here. More Thors and tanks producing still as we have our BCs out over the right. There's one way that Kelazhur can, I mean, we've seen this move a million times in this game at this point, right? Just non-stop going repeatedly towards that direction and just trying to keep the damage going over there. Well, BC's finding a little bit of harass once again, as we've seen before, so doing what we've seen many a time. Just going to be seeing actual BC dying. Wow. I mean, that's something we haven't seen until now, so times are changing, my friends. Times are changing. You have CV's just going to be dropping a little bit, so again, worker count for Kelazhur definitely an issue. As he starts to push, you sometimes get to this point where the Thors become a little bit too much and becomes tough to stop, but that's what the neural parasites are going to be there to help with as well. So let's see what's going to happen. It's set up obviously with a lot of infestors. It's really going to come down to those spellcasters to really determine a lot of what happens here, so I suppose we will see. So he's going around the right once again, getting set up already. Few things coming through, tanks firing up a storm, 23 minutes of this game. See a few Hellbats moving up. The BCs are going to come into play as well. As Little Link counterattack has gone all the way into Kelazhur's natural. As the BCs get forward, going to get some stack defense. There's a few links here that'll go down. We're starting to make Ghosts and actually upgrade to the Ghost as well. So you'll have Ghost Thor as kind of a combination to work with the Neurals on the BCs. And now they are going to be stuck. Now they can't get away. As they manually get used, the teleports get used, and these BCs are going to go down. So finally a cleanup there. Kelazhur's actually going to start pushing on this side, though. What have we actually got army-wise? I mean, only 4 Broodlords. What actually kills all these Thors, guys? Like, what does Elazer actually have to kill this army with? 40 new Zerglings being built. And you can see these couple of Broods obviously just aren't going to get the job done. Even if they had supporting units, I wouldn't really be believing in it, as you know, the first few Broodlords going down already. Some pain. Start out. It's going to be seeing our army still pushing up. It's going to be seeing this base taking damage. We do have our Lings, our Ravages all continuing through. The Ghost setting up as well as they push on forward. Sniping up what they can. A couple of Queens going down. Broodlords are trying to morph getting cancelled. There's 12 Broods, but I'm not even really convinced by the 12 Broods. But I am convinced about the Infestors. The Infestors can make a big deal of this. And you know what's interesting as well for Elazer is that he doesn't have too much gas. He's going to be very mineral heavy, so at some point he might be forced to kind of flood Lings into this. So that could obviously be very interesting as well. Something else for us to think about. We've Kelazhur moving back around the bottom side. More SCVs, Kelazhur still on a death push through the middle of the map. Thor's Ghosts all coming through. Big attack to the top as we do have a lot more Lings continue to be produced at the moment. 14 Thors, 12 Ghosts, 5 tanks, and a few Hellbats. 13 Broods. Corruptors, I feel like, don't have much of a role right now. We do have 5 Infestors as well, as we actually do pile down a Thor to begin with. It's the Neural Parasites, I think, are going to be the absolute killers here, potentially. As we do have some initial snipes going down. The Corruptors at least taking some of the initial shots away from what could have been onto Broodlords. Kelazhur's army supply looking good here overall. The Infestors not getting any further forward, and there's no answer to the Ghosts, which are just sniping for free at the moment. I don't even believe there's detection. But the Neural Parasites are overtaking all of the Thors now. There is actually a couple of Swords up at the top that are stopping the Ghosts getting closer forward. The Thors are dying because he has no way to deal with the Infestors. The positioning here was the issue for Kelazhur. He probably could have done this if the Ghosts were around the bottom side, but there's just, again, no way to deal with the Infestors. The Broodlords never got hit. This was a horrible fight for Kelazhur. Elazer, I'm not convinced his army was good enough, but the engagement itself was just not what it needed to be, and Kelazhur gets completely wiped. Ghosts on the top needed to kind of be more on the south. Like I said, the Infestors found the perfect direction to come in from to keep themselves safe. Wow. And like I say, if you just can't get rid of those Neurals, you just Neural half the Thors, and the Thors can't fight the Broodlords at all. It's a horrible fight, like I say, it's rough. There's a lot of army value lost there. Elazer's the one that has a bit more money to rebuild back up at this point. But building roaches of all things, I mean... Kelazhur's army just not what it was. I'm just trying to see if there's any hopium for Kelazhur in this game. I think a lot of the Lings right now are going to be pretty deadly, especially if the Hellions are going to venture out over here. That's a mineral line that you can completely clean up, though. There's no defense there for Elazer. And the thing is, what's going to show up to defend this mineral line is going to be Zerglings, and obviously Zerglings aren't exactly going to do great against the Blue Flame Hellions, so... Yeah, going to morph into Hellbat Smart Servos, allowing that to happen quickly, and yep, that's a melting of Lings. That's why the Blue Hellbats do great, but now the Hellbats do get cleaned up as the Roaches get there, as Kelazhur continues to try and draw this out a little further. We've seen that Ghost still moving around the left-hand side. A few Infestors coming up, Lings coming through. This army of Kelazhur sat on the precipice of maybe the final engagement here, as we're going to try and nuke down this base. Kelazhur has the bottom left mining right now. Because obviously Kelazhur can cancel this nuke if he feels like his army's in danger, but he'll just let it land and wipe out the, or help to wipe out the hatchery. A couple more drones going down, as Elazer has a Ling counter that... Well, yeah, the Lings... I mean, the problem for Elazer is still the gas, right? Like, he's got a lot of Lings that do die quickly if the right units are there to deal with them, and... Yeah, here come the Hellions, and they will deal with Zerglings very aptly, as we've already seen once. Scan to the top right side as Kelazhur sees that this base is saturated, and that is going to be one of the few mining bases Elazer has. That and this left side base that's just gotten set up. Like I said, this base of Kelazhur bottom left is keeping him in this game right now, and I honestly love the amount of Hellions that we're seeing, because there actually is a really good need for just a ton of Hellions right now. Ghosts sniping down whatever they can get their hands on for the moment. Army's setting up. Two more snipes coming through. Hellbat set. Thor's fighting. Just going to be seeing the Broodlords still trying to push on forward. I mean, you can't get in range of the Broods, and that's an issue. We do EMP the Infestors. They got a fungal or two off, but that's about it. Get rid of the Overseers so the Ghost could maybe cloak up and get into range here. Elazer's army supply is looking good. Corrosive Files coming in. There's no detection, I believe. I don't think there's even an Overseer on the map. I feel like the Ghost could probably cloak and just get forwards and snipe down the Broodlords. All the Infestors, just anything, right? Like, he probably just didn't... I felt like he knew because he was targeting down the Overseer specifically, but he didn't quite find the finishing moves. 30 minutes in this game. And, well, I tell you what, guys. My social plans for the night are being ruined by the second. Oh, Wario, I'll just do 3 best of 5s today. How about can that be? We say as we have like our third 30-minute game of the day. Had some group days where we couldn't even get a map to go more than 10 minutes. Ay, ay, ay. It's never why I make plans around StarCraft, guys. We do have our base top right gonna get nuked down by these couple Cyclones. I mean, honestly, getting rid of the drones would be nice as well. Make Elazer rebuild those if he wants to use them, so he has to replace more than just the hatch. $71.7 to 59.2k resources lost so far. And it's just going to be seeing Ling Roach Ravager going to get down. And that's a denial in this big base of Kelazhur. I mean, Kelazhur's, I guess, starting to mine the right, so maybe it's not as big of a deal as I'm making it out to be. Hellions are going to come back up here. I guess the question mark is, does he know the drones are still there? He has no reason to suspect it per se. 80 more SCVs dead for Kelazhur. He loses that bottom left. Again, at least he has this new base to keep him just about sustained. Army supplies are going to be even. Are you worried about Elazer's army? I mean, it's kind of the Infestors versus the world, right? It's Infestors and 2 Broods and then Roach Ravager, which at this point in the game, Roach Ravager should hardly be super incredible or anything. Cyclone's locking on, a couple of snipes coming through. Overseer gets knocked down. Fling's going to go after the engineering bay and just going to be seeing the units of Elazer escaping up the left. More of this army of Kelazhur coming across, and just going to get rid of a few Zerglings here so they get knocked down. Raven, the Hellions, all coming through. And these drones on the upper right as well, just finally making their escape so they can get towards some of these other bases. Like I say, haven't kept those drones alive. It's one less thing you had to replace here is you really just need an EMP on these Infestors. He's going to hit a good EMP to start. There's not going to be a lot of energy left then. I mean, that's exactly what you're looking for to begin with, as we do hit a decent fungal as a follow-up. It's just the Roaches feel like they can't do much against these tanks, and now with Kelazhur is on a push that can potentially close this out. Tanks are doing fantastic every time the Roaches get in range. Kelazhur just needs to see where those Infestors are. I'm surprised he's not kind of chaining scans. I guess he doesn't have the orbitals landed with energy. Yeah, he actually doesn't have the energy. Otherwise, he'd be chaining scans to find out where the hell the Infestors are, because they are the one thing that can win Elazer this game. A couple of vials do land, but man, the Infestors are getting nuked. The Roach Ravager is getting nuked. And Kelazhur, oh, he's going to get a bunch of the Infestors here as well. He drops an anti-armor missile instead of a snipe on an Infestor. Finally gets the snipe off. The units that remain for Elazer are really just not good enough. GG's, and Kelazhur is going to take it 3-2. Ron Hang,